Hi everyone, KNWA and Fox 24 Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff in the Weather Center. We're doing some tweaking on the audio. In our last webcast extra, in the middle of it, there was quite a bit of noise and it fuzzed out. Now we're taking the microphone off the webcam so it doesn't sound quite as crisp, but here's your webcast extra on what to expect on Wednesday. We got some major changes on the way. I'm not going to spend as much time in the first part of this webcast extra like I did in the previous one, but I want to get to that forecast track. Temperatures right now are in the mid to upper 30s. You have lower 40s in the rest of northwest Arkansas, and the cold front has made steady progression from the earlier recording. Time of this recording is just before 9 o'clock in the evening. That front has already moved through Nebraska, and as you will see, cold air does linger right behind it as an Arctic high starts to settle in, and this is an Arctic front. Some of the latest updates does show a winter storm warning now in effect. That used to be a winter weather advisory, but the snow is a little heavier than expected in parts of western Nebraska. That's interesting because we talked earlier about how the models are underdoing the precipitation amounts as this system moves into northwest Arkansas. Case in point, look what's happening to the south of Rapid City. I want you to remember this snow swath that has developed. This is an area of light to moderate snow that has popped up by 9 o'clock in the evening or even a little bit before that. So as we take a look to the northwest, we have some energy flowing in, a little clipper system rolling through the Great Lakes region. This is what we call northwest flow, and the area of concentration is going to be just to the north of Portland and south of Vancouver. You can see this little dark spot in southwestern Canada. That is a little low pressure system that's going to mainly drift through this northwest flow. The jet stream starts diving down to the southeast, and as we know, computer models have a difficult time handling northwest flow. Case in point, remember the precipitation that I showed you in northwestern Nebraska, southwestern South Dakota? Do you see it on there right there on the future track? No, you do not, because it underestimates the precipitation. So how is that important? Well, as this system comes in, it tends to push all of this precipitation, such as snowfall, to the east of the area, and I don't necessarily believe that. Now, while this won't be a major snow event, I do believe we see minor accumulation, possibly as much as a few areas picking up as much as 2 inches of snow, if all goes right and all goes according to the plan. Now, notice the future track. There is a lack of precipitation in southeastern Kansas. Well, I think that's underdoing the amount of precip, and there you see it moving in to northwest Arkansas. This is all rain. This is going to quickly change over from a rain to sleet to mainly snow mixture, and that transition will happen quickly, and I'll show you why. So future track has been waffling back and forth on saying yes, precipitation will extend into northwest Arkansas, and no, it will not. And I believe this extends all the way down into northeast Oklahoma, as a matter of fact, as this system dives in. And I think future track races this stuff way too quickly off to the east, and so I think it lingers throughout the early morning hours on Thursday. But this is the computer model that we're going with and that we're looking at until the latest information comes in. And so here's the front racing down to the south. You can see at noon it starts to nudge into northwest Arkansas, and watch this temperature drop from the mid-40s at 1 o'clock falling into the 30s quickly. Look at this. And an hour later we're at 39 degrees in Rogers, and the mid-40s in Fayetteville, and 40 degrees in Fayetteville, upper 30s in Rogers, and then look at how quick by 6 o'clock. So the front moves through around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and 3 hours later we fall about 20, 25 degrees with that potential for a rain-snow mixture, mainly sleet and snow after a little bit of light rain. Now the future track says, well, all this precipitation is going to move off to the east, but I don't necessarily believe that. I think we will see some minor accumulation. As a matter of fact, on the future track, you can kind of see that it's trended down on its snow totals. But if you ask me, we're expecting probably 1 to 1.5 inches, possibly as much as 2 inches in the elevated areas because of that rapid temperature drop and the precipitation lingering a little bit more. Possibly 1/4 to 1/2 inch to around 3/4 of an inch in Benton County. So it's not going to be a whole lot. However, keep in mind, the roads are going to freeze overnight on Wednesday night and into Thursday morning, and we will still have a little bit of that precipitation lingering. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. That's a webcast extra. We will continue to tweak our audio, make sure everything works properly, but until then, keep you here with your weather authority, and we'll keep you advised.